We see you and Whitney and your families at a restaurant after that episode, and
Was it an Italian restaurant by chance?
yes, it
Oh,
was.
Maggiano's. I remember the name.
Yes, it
Oh,
was.
wow.
Let's go. Let's
Man,
go.
she remembers. She
I
remembers
forget memory
Spencer.
times.
This is amazing.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
many people remember Spencer, so kudos to you.
It's a very forgettable demeanor and face.
Fredette for the lead. Yes! Fredette with the three. Bullseye! What a shot by Fredette!
Crunch time. The boy gave us more trays than a
He's
lunch
got
line.
his J back, folks, and the eye of the tiger.
This is From the Logo with Jimmer Fredette, presented by Primo Golf, clothing for the athletic golfer.
Greetings. Let's do this once again, shall we? I am Spencer Linton. He is Jimmer Fredette, and this is From the Logo, presented by Primo Golf. Great to have you with us for our deep range conversations about life inside and well beyond the world of sports. Jimmer, you've now had a few weeks to acclimate to the wonderful world of daylight savings time. So how's your sleep schedule, bro?
You know something, Spence? You bring up a good point. I feel like I need to hit this in a little bit, right? I don't have enough time to talk about it at this point in time, but we're going to hit this in the early tray because I have some thoughts about daylight savings time, and I'm excited to talk about it. Maybe it's a hot take, maybe it's not. We'll see. We're going to talk about it though, but it is always nice to be here on an early night, right? Because of daylight saving times. It's great. Love being here.
I can't wait for the strong opinions because every time it happens, I feel very strong emotions, Jimmer. Very strong emotions.
You should.
Get to change the game. But like you said, we'll get to that later. If you're new to the program, our purpose on this podcast is to uplift, educate, and entertain with an array of topics, including current events, super important things like daylight savings time, impactful life experiences, and our featured guest lives. We want all of you to feel better and just enjoy what we're doing here. Last episode, Yegor Demon brought it, bro. It was fantastic. You want to talk about enjoying a conversation? He's one of my favorite human beings and just so real, was downright vulnerable about a few things about life in the NBA. But what was most memorable for you in that combo with Yegor?
Yeah, he's just so likable, right? He just really is. I mean, he's from a different country, but he's truly become someone who loves Brigham Young University and he loves playing basketball. He's really embraced the culture. He's done such a good job of putting himself out there in the media in a positive way, just because that's who he is. And genuinely a really great person. He's obviously a great basketball player. I love that he understands what his weaknesses are and he wants to go out there and get better. And he's not shying away from that at all. So I love that about him. And he texted me afterwards and he's just like, you know what? That was just so much fun. I hope people like it. And I'm like, Yegor, they're going to love it. I promise, because you are just a really likable kid and you're you. So it was such a fun conversation.
He's so genuine, and he finally cleared up how to accurately pronounce his last name, and he owned it. He absolutely owned it in the most Yegor genuine way.
Yeah, it's like me saying, hey, my name is Fredette for the full first year. And then be like, you know what? It's actually Fredette. But Yegor is hilarious. Yeah, he did own it. He's just too nice of a guy. He was like, you know what? I can't like come to say this to someone, right? Like, I can't be like, I can't actually correct someone because he's so nice. He's just like, I'm just gonna let it go for a full year, and then I'll correct it once I go to the NBA. No big deal.
Oh, it's so on par for just who he is. If you missed that episode, no worries. You can find it on our YouTube channel and clips from it on all of our socials at JimmerFTL. Easy to find, easy to search up. We are ready for the opening tip-off, and here is our starting lineup today. Of course, the early tray. We've already hinted at one of the topics we'll be talking about. We're also going to give you part 2 of the best and worst parts of playing basketball overseas. Jimmer knows a thing or 75 about that. We're also going to ask a loaded question, which many of you, if not all of you, will have strong opinions on, and that is the best reality TV show ever. Why are we talking about that? Because we have a legend in the reality TV show series, joining the program today, Lindsay Arnold-Cusick. Jimmer, all-timer on Dancing with the Stars and So You Think You Can Dance, and she still continues to crush it on social media, 1.3 million followers on TikTok. People are dialed into how she's balancing motherhood since leaving Dancing with the Stars. Can't wait to talk to her.
Yeah, me either. She is I love Lindsay. Like I've been watching Dancing with the Stars for a long time. We talk about how I've actually watched So You Think You Can Dance ever since like the origin of that show. I don't know why. I love dancing. I'm not a great dancer. I like to think that I have a little, at least a little bit of rhythm out there, but my sister was a dancer, so I was around it a lot and I watched her and her things. So for some reason I just really love dance. And just all-time shows. She's an all-time great. I'm excited to talk to her. I know you guys are going to love the conversation, but I know that I did, and that's all that matters. So she's a delight to be around.
You've got the spin move and the up and under and the duck move in basketball, Jimmer. You've got some rhythm, dude, and you danced. You had an epic dance at a wedding once upon a time.
Yeah, Brandon's wedding, right? And they made me dance. They're like, "You have to do this, and we're gonna video it. It's gonna go viral. There's gonna be gifs on it or gifs, however you say it." And we could talk about that, till the end of time. But yeah, I definitely don't mind cutting a rug or two in my day, and one of these days we're gonna have to talk about the best dance song ever. So that we're gonna put that in the Early Trey at some point. Not today, but at some point we're gonna talk about it.
Okay, very good. Maybe it has something to do with the night at the Roxbury. We'll see. Just don't break anything. Don't break anything. Also on the way, delay of game in 3x3 basketball. Why would anyone dare slow down the fast pace of that beautiful game, Jimmer? You're going to discuss what actually goes into that as well. Loaded lineup. Let's roll out the early tray now. 3 top of mind subjects to set the pace on this pod. Jimmer, are you ready to shoot?
Shoot your shot. Let's do it.
Okay. Triple threat. Let's go, bro. Number 1, we said we would bring back living and playing basketball overseas. You touched briefly on that and said that the worst part is being away from family.
Yeah.
And then I'm summarizing here. You can add to it, but then talked about embracing culture and embracing the people that love you and being kind to them and just being genuine. And then you see how magic happens when you are in all of those different countries. What would you like to add to that conversation about the best and worst parts of playing basketball professionally overseas?
Yeah. There's a lot. Obviously, you have to weigh the pros and cons on wherever you go, and everywhere you go is going to be different. There are going to be different pros and cons. So just in China, for example, when I was over in China, the language barrier is difficult. I will say that, right? Like for me, fortunately, I was fortunate enough to have a translator who helped me with on the court stuff. But I have a coach, who a lot of the coaches were Chinese, and most of them did not speak English at all. They just spoke Mandarin, so it was hard to communicate with them without my translator right next to me. So if they're trying to say something to you, there always has to be that second person next to you talking. And it's so funny because you'll be in the huddle and they'll be trying to say something to you, or they'll try, even yelling at you at something, and the translator has to match their energy. So I'll be looking at the translator and he'll be like yelling at me because the coach is yelling at me in Mandarin, but he'll be yelling at me in English, and I'm looking at him, and it's just like a full funny dynamic that you have to get used to. And so it's really interesting. But that's one of the difficulties, obviously, the language barrier. The second thing is you're alone a lot. For me specifically, obviously my family wasn't there. So what do I do with my time? Like you play basketball for like 2 hours a day, maybe. And then at that point, you have the rest of the day in this foreign country to go out and do stuff. And you're like, well, what do I do? Do I just sit in my apartment all day? What is it that I do? So I used to just go on the subway, literally, and I just kind of take the metro to all these different places. And I knew Shanghai really well because I'd go to different pockets and I'd walk around and I'd grab some food, and I just kind of just explore, and I get back on the metro and I find my way home, and I just was like, had it as a challenge. I was like, all right, let's just do this and try to figure out it. So I was actually like an expert at the metro. I actually started taking the metro to the games instead of
Really?
car. Yeah, instead of using the car because it was so much easier for me to do that. So that's another thing. What do you do with your time? You can be very lonely. It could be very, very boring. And then some places the food was really difficult. It was like in Greece, the food was not difficult at all. It was incredible. Right. It was some of the best food I've ever had, some of the best restaurants I've ever had. In Shanghai, it was pretty darn good too. It was a very international city, so you could pretty much get anything you want. I mean, they have Cheesecake Factory over there, they have Shake Shack over there, Habit Burger, anything you want American. Then they had Chinese, they had Italian food. They had basically everything. But when you go on the road in some of these places in China, there is very, very little Americanized food. It's very Chinese, and some of the food that they eat is not the same that we eat, and it just doesn't settle well. If I could say that correctly. So I'm like, you don't wanna work, you don't wanna have to deal with that while you're trying to play a basketball game. And so yeah, those are some difficulties that you have to go through. Some of the positives on the court, you are they give you the basketball. They're like, you go do you. That was one of the best things for me. And they were saying, hey, we want you to be BYU Jimmer again. You take the ball, you make the decisions. We're gonna ride you to either a win or a loss. And that's what they wanted to do. So for me, that was perfect. Right. I'm an aggressive basketball player. I like to shoot the basketball, but I also like to just have the ball in my hands and kind of, dictate the game and what's going on. And that's what they let me do. So on the court, it was a huge positive. I had a blast playing the game over there. So that's something that is amazing. And if you play well, if you're doing well, if you show them love, they just love you back. The fans were awesome. I was able to get a ton of endorsement deals over in China just because I was playing well, because they just liked me as a person, and trying to do good.
You were Jimo Dashen.
Gmo Dashen. I had my own shoe that sold over there, all these things. So like the positives were big as well. But yeah, it's just a different experience playing overseas. You have to get used to it. You have to understand what to do with your time. You have to make sure that you are capable of staying mentally there, and not just trying to be like, oh man, I just want to be home all the time, because you're not gonna give your best effort. Try to put yourself out there and do some fun things and enjoy life, make friends, do your thing, and then go play ball on the court, and play it to the best of your ability. If you can do that, you can have a great time and a great success overseas, but it's harder than it looks.
I have so many follow-ups to a lot of the things that you just brought up, because a lot of it is amazing. First is, have you ever considered being a Shanghai tour guide for American groups at some point?
Yeah, if this podcast goes downhill, I'm going straight over there. That's where I'm going to provide for the family again.
You've invested enough time to know. And I'm guessing you probably know how to say, forgive the phrase, I have diarrhea in Mandarin.
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah. They call the bathroom the water shed over in China. Like it's like it's a water closet. That's what they call it. A water closet. That's like in English, that's what they call it. And the first time that I had used the bathroom in this is going off the rails here, but last time we had to use the bathroom going in one of these Chinese basketball places, like you don't have like a normal toilet. The toilet is like on the ground.
Yep.
Right. So it's like it's a whole different scenario at that point. Like I've never dealt with this before. And yeah, so we can get off this now, but that was a wild experience.
It's real. And it's part of the best and worst parts of playing overseas basketball. This is what people listen to this podcast for, Jimmer. The real.
Yeah.
As weird and as ugly as it get at times, that they want this. Okay, second follow-up. When did you first hear the phrase Jimo Dashen?
Okay, so this is a great story actually. So it was my first season, and we had just, played a game. I was on the bus. We were riding back to the hotel. We had just won a big game, so we were doing really well our first season. We started off the season like 10 or 11-0, first time ever in Shanghai history. Like we were playing great. And, we just won a big game. I got back on the bus, and I'm kind of sitting there with my headphones in, and one of my teammate comes and knocks on my shoulder. His name's Max. I've talked about Max before. He's 7'3". He went to the University of California to play basketball. He spoke perfect English. He was a semi-translator on the court for me. He knocks on my shoulder, and I turn around. He's like, "Hey, Jimmer, just curious if you heard what the people are calling you now." And I was like, "No, I haven't heard it at all. I mean, I don't speak Mandarin, so like I don't even know if they were saying something to me." And he was like, "Well, they're calling you Gmo." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I've actually heard a few people say that, Gmo." I'm like, "That's just, they can't say Jimmer." So I figured it would, they can't use the R's. That's just not in their vocabulary. So because of that, I thought they were just saying Gmo as in like Jimmer. He's like, "Well, yeah, but he's like, also what it means is Gmo means lonely." And I was like, "Lonely? So like that's my nickname? They're calling me lonely?" I was like, that's a terrible nickname, right? Like who wants to be called lonely? And he's like, "No, no, 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 no." He's like, "They're calling you Jimo Dashen. That is different. Jimo Dashen means you are lonely, but you're at the top of the mountain or you're at the top of your sport and no one can reach your level." Then I was like, "That's better. I like that. That is a great nickname." And he's like, "Yeah, they're calling you Jimo Dashen now." And I was like, "Wow, that is a big honor. I love that. Thank you for letting me know." And then at that point, I was kind of branded as Jimo Dashen. So all my stuff moving forward, my shoes, my shirts, all the stuff that's sold over there was branded as Jimo Dashen.
It's lonely at the top, whether you're a tour guide or a basketball player, Jim. We're doing it at a high level. Love that story. And again, it if you literally translate it, correct me if I'm wrong, it means the lonely god, but that
Yep.
became the lonely master.
Correct. Yeah, I changed it because, I obviously did not want to be known as a god. I mean, a master's worse, bad enough, but, definitely didn't want that. So we changed it to Lonely Master.
Okay. You mentioned coaches yelling at you. Did you ever get in trouble, Jimmer? Ever in China?
Hey, in trouble? No, my coaches loved me. I will say that they loved me. I would talk with them. I joke with them. I have fun, and I always worked hard at practice. Like I was trying to do the right things. So because of that, obviously they would get mad at me if I mean, not like mad, but they would be disappointed or upset if I did something on the court that wasn't good, right? Like any other coach would. But they definitely, did not get on my case much because I was always on time. I'm always trying to joke with the guys. I'm lightening the mood. I'm having a good time. And then when it's time to work, it's time to work. And I was trying to be a leader. I think they appreciated that. And my coaches, they loved me, which was good. And that's why they let me shoot a lot. That's the trick, ladies and gentlemen. If your coach likes you, they're gonna let you do more. So I always got in good graces with my coaches and talked with them and made sure, hey, I'm here to work because you're gonna let me shoot more if you like me. So that's always a trick.
This is wisdom. This is wisdom right there. And not just with coaches, just with your teachers, with authoritative figures, with your group of friends, with your bosses. Just be a good soldier and be kind and do what you're told. And
Yep.
generally, good things will happen and they will like you.
Hey, listen, I tell my kids like there is nothing wrong with being a teacher's pet, right? Like that's for some reason they think that's a bad term. I'm like, no, that's a great term. No, get in good. You want to be good. You want to do that. You want to have leeway. If something goes wrong, they know that you're trying to do well. That's always a good thing.
Okay, this is a loaded first question, and we knew it would be, which is why we brought it back. Last follow up, and this deals with something that I experienced when I lived in Korea, in the second biggest city in South Korea, in Busan.
Yep.
Every time I would go to an American establishment and order American food, but in Korea, it tasted way better in Korea than it did in America. McDonald's, KFC, Pizza Hut was some of the greatest pizza I have ever tasted in my life. I am not kidding you. It's like a fancy restaurant in South Korea, and they only have like a few ingredients. There are no preservatives. There's not like the list of ingredients isn't 78 things long, and you can't read 74 of those ingredients, so you don't know what they are. They had a very few ingredients, and it tasted better. Was that the case in China when you went to an American establishment?
Ugh, I wish I could say yes, but not always. um, McDonald's was good, was really good over in China, and in usually the Pizza Huts were pretty good too. Now in Pizza Huts, if you ordered the wrong thing, it could be disastrous. They'll have like a seafood pizza.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Where it's just like full seafood.
kimchi pizza.
Literally, they'll have what's called durian on their pizza, which is like the nastiest smelling fruit on the planet, and it looks like cheese on the pizza. So if you get that, you may not sleep for a couple nights. Like there's some things that are not good. The KFC is not great in China either. They only use like dark meat, which was interesting. Like when I first, because generally speaking, when you're at KFC in the US, it's the white meat, right? You're eating it and it's just regular white meat. This was very dark meat and it wasn't amazing, to be honest with you. And some of the American restaurants that are Chinese that try to be American were a little bit different. But I will say that when you go to some of these places and there is a Burger King or there's a McDonald's or there's a Pizza Hut, it tastes like the best thing you've ever had in your life because there's nothing else around. And you're so hungry. You're like, this is phenomenal stuff right now. This is what I needed.
Okay, we had to get a food topic in there in some capacity, right? We had to bring that back. But I thought that was so funny that while I was in South Korea of all places, and it's westernized, like that country has experienced a lot of international trade, and it's very modernized. It's a fabulous place. I love South Korea, but
Awesome.
Pizza Hut and the American restaurant chains there, and everyone's so respectful and it's clean. And it's not surprising that it tasted good. I had a friend that would only speak, even though he spoke fluent Korean, he would only speak English in American establishments while he was in South Korea, and he would speak fast on purpose. And I
I'm all confused.
it would always make me feel uncomfortable because he'd be like, yeah, can I have a Big Mac meal, but let's do the orange Fanta and a large fry, and they're just like, their eyes just get so big. You're such a jerk, dude. You're such a jerk. Just speak Korean. Speak it.
Gosh.
All right. Okay. Story time about eating in Asia is over for the moment, but great stuff. And the backstory behind Jimo Daoshen, always a good time. Okay. Second topic. We talked about this off the top of the show. I have very, very strong feelings and opinions about this, and I have no idea what you think about it, which is why we're going to discuss this. But daylight savings time in general. Keep in mind, this was instituted for farmers however many decades ago, centuries ago. It was for the farmers to help them in their crops and cultivating everything and harvesting things. Jimmer, it's 2025. Why is daylight savings still a thing? And are you in favor of it?
Yeah, this is a question that a lot of people have, right? I would say the majority of the people out there dislike daylight saving times. I would just go out and venture and say that there's a couple of states that don't do it, right? Like Arizona doesn't do it. There's a couple other states that don't. Can't think of them right now. I really like daylight savings time.
What?
I love it. I don't know why, but there is something about when it starts to become Christmas time, when it starts to, get past Thanksgiving, I just feel like it should be dark longer. I want the Christmas lights out. I feel like I'm in my house and I want Sunday night football and I want Monday night football. I want it to be fully pitch dark while I'm watching those football games. While there's Christmas lights on, while there's snow outside, I want it all dark. And the earlier that it's dark, the better at that point. So I'm like 4:30, 5 o'clock, it's getting dark. It's time to get inside. It's time to get a game on. It's time to eat some dinner and watch it. Gets the kids to bed easier. All of the above. I love the summertime, obviously. The light, it stays light a lot longer, but it's much warmer else. When it's dark and it's cold, it feels like winter. It feels like basketball. I just love it. I don't know why. Call me crazy. I'm a big daylight savings fan.
Okay, I can relate to many of the things that you just said there. The fall back scenario. I don't have a problem falling back, especially because it grants everyone an extra hour of sleep, although it throws kids' schedules off like crazy. But the fall back is much easier than the spring forward. So why can't society just collectively decide to vote, at least in the United States, and this has been up for debate forever, it feels like, and has been on several ballots and gone to the Supreme Court. Why can't they just say, you know what? After we fall back, we're just gonna stay there. We're just gonna keep it. There's no spring forward. There's no ridiculous move forward, which is even harder on folks with kids and adults as you get older. Never fun to lose an hour of sleep. But why are you in favor of the spring forward too? Or are you cool if we just fell back and just stayed there? Just consistency.
I like that idea, Spence. I'm a fallback guy. I don't love the spring forward. I will say that. I don't love the spring forward. I'm just a fallback guy. That's what I like. If we could keep it that way, I would absolutely do it. I don't know why that you said it was for the farmers. I didn't even know that. All right. Like I don't know why they do this stuff. I just know that it's getting darker earlier. The sun comes out a little bit earlier, and I'm up and I'm ready to go. And then when the sun goes down, I'm ready to watch Monday Night Football, and I'm set. So that's the only thing that I really know about, right? So other than that, I'm in favor for the fallback. Let's just keep it that way. Let's start a petition, Jimmer from the logo petition, and let's just go after it.
Okay, Jimmer, I have contacted my crack research team on the states without daylight savings to confirm what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
Hawaii and Arizona,
Those
are the two states in the 50 United
Arizona
States.
was one, so it's Hawaii's the other. All right, well they're the two smart ones. There you go.
I have no issue with that. Right? It is weird that Arizona is kind of excluded from all of this. Like, why? Like,
Yeah.
why and how did they do it? Can other states institute this?
I'm
Is
assuming
Colorado, where you live, and Utah, where I live, be involved in this somehow?
they should be able to. That's got to be a state rule. So, all right, we'll see what happens.
It's the worst. The spring forward is the worst. I can't take it. Christmas lights and all of the things you talked about. Yeah, fantastic. Let's do it. I'm here for it. There's a certain romantic and just seasonal element to that. I'm all about that. But the spring forward needs to die 1,000 fiery deaths. All right, number 3 in the early Trey. This is in the spirit of our guest today, Lindsay Arnold-Cusick, a reality television superstar who has since retired. She still does some things with Dancing with the Stars and should go in the reality television Hall of Fame if that is a thing somewhere.
Yep.
But because we're talking with her and about reality TV today and how difficult it can be and what is actually real and what's not, the third question today is, what's the best reality television show ever? This is a loaded question.
That's such a tough question. It just is. And I have an answer for it. For me, I'm going to give you a few that I think are great.
Okay.
That are not number one. One of them that I love is The Voice. I love The Voice.
In my top 5?
Yeah, I love The Voice. I love the original with Bledick and Adam and that crew. They were funny. They were good. It was an interesting concept. I really liked that one. Going back, the very first Real World, like the Real World series back in the day, that was like the first time, that and Big Brother, I feel like, were the first time where people were actually just living in a house together and they just filmed it. And they were just crazy, wild and crazy, and just a whole lot of stuff going on.
Oh, gee.
A lot of drama, obviously. I think that's an incredible one. There's so many good ones. My number one is the original American Idol. I love the original American Idol. The people that came off of that show, like just to name a few, you got Kelly Clarkson, you got Carrie Underwood.
Oh, man.
Jennifer Hudson, you got Jordan Sparks, you got Luke Bryan. I
know
David Arch. Just so many people that came off of this show and have made it big and are just like actual real superstars, right? Like it's impressive. And I just really liked the show. It was such a new concept. It was interesting. They had great singers, great talent. Obviously, Simon Cowell with him and how he, kind of transcended the judging for all of these shows to have that one guy that was kind of like Simon Cowell. So that was probably my favorite.
Iconic Simon Cowell. He was, love him or hate him, brilliant mind and brilliant approach. He made that show very unique and special in a lot of ways. You need a polarizing figure like that. He was very integral in that. Okay, I'm give my top 5, and I'll lead with this caveat. Most of why I love these shows are based around the community that is involved in the show. And the center of my community is my wife, Brittany. So most of my fond memories of watching these shows and why I feel so highly about them and like them so much was because it was something I could do with her and bond with her, especially in our early married years when our schedules were crazy. And she was teaching elementary school and I was working the night shift at a local television station. But my lunch break would happen, between 7 and 8:30 at night. And I would come home and I would eat dinner with her. And then we would typically watch one of these reality TV shows. And it was our time.
Right.
So with that said, or it was on a Sunday when I had a day off and I could be with her. But I'm going to count down from 5. Number 5 is the next Food Network star. I don't think it was like this mind-blowing production. It was really good, but because she's such a foodie and she loves to cook and she enjoys everything that goes into that, like watching her get excited about that. And then I was pulled in, loved that. Okay. And I had a friend that I went to school with who I anchored the daily news with at BYU named Kelsey Nixon. And she finished in the top 4 on the next Food Network star and got her own show on the Food Network. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that adds to it. That's number 5. Number 4, So You Think You Can Dance. I'm with you, man. That show was so fun, especially the early seasons. Lindsay Arnold-Cusick, our guest today, got her big break on that show, and that got her to Dancing with the Stars. So love So You Think You Can Dance. The wild array of dancing skills and talent that the winners would show, just get their ability to be versatile. Insane. Love that show. My wife was a big dancer, so she liked that one too. And then 3 and 2 are kind of close to each other, but I'm with you. The Voice is number 3.
Yep.
The original American Idol, the early seasons,
Yep.
probably at number 2 for me. You talked about the mega stars that happened on that show.
Yep.
And then number 1 for me, because I'm a sports fan, I had to put a sports show at the top of the list because, Jimmer, I believe in my heart of hearts, the only true, 100% true reality television in our world are sports. You can't predict them. There are special, magical moments. You just never know what's going to happen. But shout out to NFL Films and Hard Knocks. I think that show is so compelling, and it gives you a look and insight into the world of professional football and how cutthroat it is and how brutal it can be and how emotional it can be. And I love just the narration, the original narrator for NFL Films and those shows. Like that takes me to a happy place, Jimmer. Like those things take me to a very happy place.
No, I love it. It's a great top 5, and Hard Knocks is, it's still going on today. The vulnerability, the stuff to see. That's why it's still going on, because people love the show. I get it. It's phenomenal. Yeah, I can't argue. It's a great top 5. So I'm not going to argue with you at this point. I like it.
That is how we do the Early Trey. Longer edition today, but full of fantastic stories and insights. And if you disagree with any of it, daylight savings, American establishments in Asia, our top 5 reality shows, if you want to throw one in there, let us know. Leave comments on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, whatever platform you want to use. We'd love to hear from you. All right. We got to call timeout, take our first break. When we come back, as promised, Dancing with the Stars legend and coach Lindsay Arnold-Cusick gets the full court press. Why she gave it all up in Hollywood 4 years ago, her most challenging dancing partner, and why she owes her big break to her mom. When From the Logo continues, presented by Primo Golf.
Hi, I'm Phil Mickelson, 6-time major champion and captain of the High Flyers, but you already knew that. What you might not know is I'm a huge joggers guy. But it wasn't always like this. Once I gave them a shot though, there was no going back. And it's not just me, the whole team loves them.
Are you sure about this, Phil? I don't know if I'm a joggers guy.
Yes, you are. See, he loves them. And it's not just the joggers. We're obsessed with the buttery soft quarter zips and blade collars so sharp, you might actually hurt yourself. Oh. That's why I'm so thrilled to announce that Primo Golf Apparel will be the official sponsor of the High Flyers in 2025. I did have one small request. How do they look? Amazing. Yeah, they feel good. Oh my God. Easy. Amazing. Who's got my pants?
Welcome back to From the Logo with Jimmer Fredette, presented by Primo Golf. It's time for the full court press with our VIP guest. She is Lindsay Arnold-Cusick, who spent essentially a decade in Hollywood as one of its brightest reality TV stars on So You Think You Can Dance, and eventually for years on Dancing with the Stars. Why did she give up the reality show stardom 4 years ago? Why she owes her big break to her sweet mom, and what in the world is she doing now? Jimmer and I recorded this interview with Lindsay a few days ago. We're bringing it back now. Enjoy the full court press with Lindsay Arnold-Cusick. Lindsay Arnold-Cusick is making her From the Logo debut. Lindsay, welcome to the show. How are you feeling on this fine day?
Oh, I'm so excited to be chatting with you guys. This is going to be so much fun. So thank you for having me.
Now, I know that your husband, Sam, is aware of Jimmer and is a fan of what he did, although he may root for another team that competed against Jimmer. So what's that dynamic like as worlds collide here and you're talking with Jimmer Fredette?
Oh, it's so much fun. I mean, Jimmer is a household name. Like, I can't even say that I was like a huge basketball fan, but I knew who Jimmer was. And my husband was a big basketball fan. I will say, although he is a Utes fan, that doesn't necessarily translate into basketball. He loved going to BYU basketball games. So he was all about that. It's really mostly the football. But yeah, it's so fun that we're doing this. My husband Sam's definitely jealous. He's probably like, do they want me on the podcast? I can share some cool insight.
Oh yeah, we got to get Sam on at some point as well. We'll talk sports with Sam, BYU Utah rivalry, and I appreciate that. Listen, I have found it's very interesting. I have found that fortunately for me and for our basketball team, like when I was playing back in 2011, that a lot of Utah fans were like, you know what? We were actually cheering for you guys because it was just such an exciting time, and our basketball team wasn't great. So we didn't have a ton to cheer for besides our football team and maybe gymnastics, right? And some of these things, but they were like, we're closet BYU fans during that time. So I appreciate that, Sam. We got you. We appreciate that. But I have one question to start out as well. How can we get me on Dancing with the Stars, Lindsay? Like, how can we do this? Like, we got to
Have you like submitted anything? Have you talked to anybody or no?
Not yet. Not yet.
We'll talk the
but-
first, which I got some
yeah.
contacts for you.
I would have figured that you have some contacts for me. The question is, how much rhythm do you need to really have? I got a little rhythm. I dance a little bit. Obviously, high school dances, I was crushing it. I would be in the circle and I'd be doing my thing. But like, I don't know. I'm a little nervous if I were to try to actually put my name in the hat.
Let's say we've seen it all. We've seen absolutely no
Sure.
rhythm, negative rhythm. We've seen a lot of so the good news is that's what the Dance with the Stars pros are made for, is to take any dance experience. So the fact that you say you have a little rhythm is promising. And the fact that you like want to do it is also another promising moment. Any partner that you have that actually wants to be there and wants to put in the work, there you go. That's it right there. We have had quite a few basketball players. I had a basketball player, but it was actually Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He was 72 at the time. So that was a little different experience, but it was fun. No, but I've got some contacts. After this, we're gonna connect because I think that'd be amazing.
He was 72 and 7'2", right?
Yeah,
Like, so you had a lot of
dancing partner.
a lot going there. Go ahead.
He was the
Yeah,
sweetest man ever. We had so much fun. Oh my gosh.
It's great.
What's it like managing the height differential when you're trying to do the paso doble with 7'4"? or whatever
Yeah.
Kareem is.
So I actually am kind of known on the show for always getting really tall partners. I had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was obviously the tallest, but beyond that, I was partnered with Calvin Johnson, Megatron, with DeMarcus Ware, who all at least 6'5" or taller. And it's definitely a challenge working with a longer body because there's just so much more that you have to control. But I liked it. I found myself doing a lot of tricks and lifts with these partners because they were super strong. Not Kareem. We didn't do any lifts with Kareem, but it was fun. It's a challenge that, like, definitely does make it harder and honestly makes it harder for the celebrity themselves because, like I said, a longer body just means a lot more body that you have to control and make look good while dancing. But it was always a fun challenge that I loved taking on. But yeah, I was kind of known for that. Like I always got the tall partners for some reason.
And I know if you've talked about this a bit recently, and I know some of the stars have talked about, or some of the pros have talked about this, about how difficult it actually is to be a pro, right? Because you're, like you've said before, you're taking someone from all different stages, all different heights, no
Yeah.
dance experience, whatever that is, and having to make choreograph a dance, but also in a really short amount of time, and then get them to understand how to do the dance, but also the facial expressions and all of the things like the emotion of it, all of those things. How difficult is it? Because I know it can't be easy.
It's very hard. It's a very
Yeah.
hard there's just a lot of layers, and here's the thing,
Yeah.
the goal is to be able to get in all of the layers that you can. Like you said, it's like the first step is, as a pro, you've gotta choreograph a dance. Then you've gotta teach that to your partner. Then odds are they're probably not gonna be able to do everything that you plan, so then you've gotta adjust the choreography. And then after they even just know the choreography, they've gotta be able to do it to speed, to music. And then it's like, okay, well, now that you know the steps, let's try to make them look good. And so it's like every week with that little amount of time, it's like with your partner, you're trying to get as many of those extra steps done as possible to help them look and feel their best. Because that's the other thing is there is a lot of pressure as a pro to make sure that when your celebrity steps onto stage in front of millions of people watching, that they're gonna feel comfortable and like be proud of what they do. Because that falls on you as the pro. Like how their experience goes on the show falls on you as a pro. And so that just like you always want them to have a good time and feel like they are like proud of what they did out there. And so yeah, it's a lot. It's also the most rewarding and fun job ever. Like I think you guys can probably relate that sometimes like that pressure is what makes it even more exciting and fun. The payoff is even more exciting when the pressure is super high. So it's like it's all the things. You feel all the things, but it is so much fun.
Lindsay Arnold-Cusick is with us on From the Logo. When do the nerves and the pressure of that go away or almost get embraced, Lindsay? Maybe the nerves were always there because you're talking about a lot that is on your shoulders. So at what point did it start to feel like, yeah, I'm in my groove, I can do this, and I'm not getting so incredibly nervy before every performance?
Yeah. I think the more you do it, the easier it gets. I mean, my first season as a pro, terrifying the whole time through. Every single time I stepped on the stage, I was like, "Oh," just because it's so new. But then I would say after a couple seasons to be honest, I feel like the first episode with your partner is always the most nerve-wracking because it's the first time seeing how your partner's gonna react with all the cameras and the lights and the judges and all the things. And I feel like after you get that first episode under your belt and you're like, "Okay, we got this," I then know how my partner and celebrity reacts, and I'm able to, like, adjust as I go. And I think just gaining confidence with experience is huge. And also, like, the longer I've been on the show, the more I've understood that it's not just about the dancing, like, it really is about the whole experience. I mean, we see that there's dancers who have no experience that end up making it to the finals, and that actually happened to me a couple of times. So, I think when I realized what was most important and not just putting so much pressure on, we have to have the best dance every single week, then I started to just feel like this is just about having fun and doing the best that we can, and I think it took the pressure off quite a bit.
Yeah, no, that's great. I want to go back a little bit to when you started dance. And I want
Yeah.
to talk about that, your experience of, okay, when did you start dance? I'm assuming young. And then at that point, how difficult was it to, I mean, not how difficult was it, but how much did you have to dance on a weekly basis when you were young? Did you other things? Was it just dance all the time? And talk a little bit about kind of that Utah culture of dance because there's so many great dancers that come out of Utah. It's incredible to see. So I want to know a little bit about that from your perspective.
Yeah, well, you nailed it. Utah dancing is very intense in the best way. It's competitive dancers at a very high level. Every dance studio in Utah is very serious about what they do, and it's like a full-time commitment. The dancing when I don't even really remember my first dance class. It was like I was probably 3 or something. But I feel like I always say like my dance career started when I was like 7 or 8. I danced all the way up until that age, but when I was 7, almost 8, that's when I got my first ballroom partner, and that's where I feel like things got really, really serious for me. So, got a ballroom partner. I was training in ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, contemporary, all the things. And then started doing ballroom at this age. So I got a ballroom partner and then I'm training all day. So from essentially when I was like 8 years old until I graduated high school, I was at dance as long or longer than I was at school, which sometimes I feel like that's kind of crazy to say, but in the end, it worked out great. So, but yeah, I would go to dance or go to school in the morning and then get picked up, have a quick lunch, and then go straight to dance until after dinner time, come home, race home, do some homework, go to bed, start it over the next day. And I personally like I had some friends who did dance and they did other things, like maybe they were a cheerleader or they did other things like other activities, but I just really I loved dance. It was the only activity I wanted to do. And it was also kind of I feel like a lot of people ask if I felt like I didn't get, like, that childhood experience because I was so busy with dance, but to me, like, I loved it. It was all I knew as well, and all of my friends danced with me. Like, my best, closest friends that I'm still friends with to this day are people that I grew up dancing with, so it was definitely a full-time job. I always kinda say that, but it's funny because at the time, it wasn't a job to me. It wasn't something that, like, I was doing because I had this specific end goal that I had to do. It was because I truly loved it. Like, I genuinely enjoyed it. I loved going to competitions every weekend. I loved, like, perfecting my craft, and it was just something that I was passionate about, and I think in my young mind, I didn't even really think in fact, I know I didn't. I didn't really think like, "Oh, this is I'm doing this so that I for sure can have a professional career out of it."
Right. I just want to follow up there quick, Spence. Just it's so interesting to me when I talk to people who are great at something that they do. Right. In your case, it's dance. For me, it was basketball. That it doesn't feel like a job when you're doing it in the beginning, right? Like you are literally doing it because you love it. But I always tell people the way you're going to become the best at whatever it is that you're doing is that it has to be a self motivation. It has to come from you. Like
Um,
it can't come from your parents saying, "Hey, you need to go do this today."
yeah.
It's more of, "Hey, Lindsay for herself wants to go out there and do it herself." And then that's when it doesn't feel like a job and you don't gain that burnout and you want to do something great because it's internally something that you want to do. So I find that super interesting that that's the case, that you've loved it right from the get go, even though you did it for so long and and so many hours. That was like what you wanted to do. And I love to hear that, but that's how people become great.
100%. You have to love it because yeah, if you're forced to do it, it's not I don't know. It just then you don't learn that, like you said, the self-motivation. Because then when it becomes your career, it's like, who's motivating you now when you're an adult? You need to have that in yourself. Because I mean, at least my parents weren't about to force me to do anything in my professional career, so I needed to have that motivation for myself, and I just think, yeah, it's so important.
Lindsay, once again, we are learning, as we have from so many of our elite guests on this podcast, that there is no fast, easy path to success. And it often, almost all the time, takes so much consistent hard work and dedication. And then you need to catch a break. So I'm going to rewind in your timeline a little bit and tell you about a time that our paths converged. There is no way that you are going to remember this, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. Okay.
Oh, wait, I might challenge.
Okay. I was working at a Fox affiliate in Southern California as a sportscaster. And because we
Okay.
were a Fox affiliate, my news director gave me and my wife, Brittany, tickets to go watch you perform on So You Think You Can Dance. I
Oh,
believe
yeah.
you were with Whitney. I mean,
Yes,
you must have been in high school. Yeah.
I just graduated, so I was 18. That
Yes.
was back in
Yes.
2012.
Crazy.
Crazy.
So we are on the Fox studio a lot. We watch a live taping of the show. I think the big promotional performance was for Step It Up 3 or something like
Okay. I'm like, I
that.
think it's coming back to me.
Which and all of his buddies are spinning on their heads on the stage. It was incredible. It was
Okay, good.
incredible. Okay. We see you and Whitney and your families at a restaurant after that episode. And
Was it an Italian restaurant by chance?
yes, it
Oh,
was.
Maggiano's.
Yes.
I remember the name.
Yes, it
Oh,
was.
wow.
Let's go. Let's
Man,
go.
she
I
remembers
work in memory
Spencer.
times.
This is amazing.
Oh
Not many
yeah.
people remember Spencer, so kudos to you,
The
Lindsay.
very forgettable demeanor and face. But it was fun to watch you in that scenario on So You Think You Can Dance. Just maybe let's rewind a little bit before that. How did you catch your break there
Yeah.
and then have this evolve from Maggiano's and Italian food there into where you are as just an unbelievable Dancing with the Stars pro?
Okay, so going back, okay, I know I said that my parents never forced me to do anything. My mom did force me to do one thing, and I will forever be grateful for that. And I'm like, I'll get back to that. But essentially, I was in high school, it was my senior year. And so you think you can't, wow. So you think you can dance auditions used to travel around the country and do auditions like all over. And they were
No.
coming to Salt Lake City. You had to be 18 to audition. And they just so happened to be coming to Salt Lake City like 3 weeks after I turned 18. And my mom was like, "Lindsay, you've got to do it." And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to make it. Like, I don't want to tell my friends I'm going to audition for this and then have to report back that I didn't even make it. Like, I'm not doing it." My mom was like, yeah, no, you're going. Fully was like, "You have to do this. Like, I believe in you. You can do this." And so I ended up going to the audition and I made it to the next round, which they do what used to be called a Vegas week. So they like go around the country, they get their group, and then everybody goes to Vegas and it's like a couple hundred people. And then they take it down to 20 people that will then go on the live show. And so, yeah, I made it at Salt Lake. I went to Vegas, ended up making it into the top 20 onto the live show. It was honestly such a whirlwind. And like, I always go back to like, you've gotta have that self-motivation, but you've also gotta surround yourself with people who are going to believe in you and push you to be your best self, and that's exactly what my parents did for me throughout my entire life. They still do that for me today. So I think that, like, yes, that motivation is so important, but had my mom not believed in myself for me, I wouldn't have gone to that audition, and my life would not be where it is today. Like, it truly
Wow.
would. I know that it wouldn't have been. So, but yeah, that's how I kinda got my start and ended up going on the live shows. So You Think You Can Dance, I made it to the top 8. And then on tour with So You Think You Can Dance, and while I was on the tour, I got contacted by the Dance with the Stars producers who had seen me on So You Think You Can Dance, and then asked if I wanted to be a part of Dancing with the Stars. So it all just kind of like fell into place. But I always go back to like that audition in Salt Lake City, up at the Palace Theater. Is that what it's called? Like every time I drive by that place, I'm like, that is literally where my life changed because I'm telling you, like, I I wouldn't call myself like a big dreamer. Like I worked hard. I was always motivated. I loved competing. I loved doing all those things. But I wasn't someone who was always like having these like crazy life dream goals. I was kind of a very realistic person. And so I actually was like at that time enrolled at UVU to go to college. I was going to do physical therapy. Like I just didn't necessarily, I was the person who was like, let's pick the safe option. And I'm so glad. Since then, I'm no longer like that because that was a huge learning moment for me. But it's just crazy to think that, like, if So You Think You Can Dance hadn't happened, I probably would have gone to college, which is also great. But I wouldn't have like pursued this side of my career that has now just absolutely changed my life.
That's so fun to hear. I love hearing origin stories of how things start and what changed your life. And
Yeah.
full disclosure, I'm a massive So You Think You Can Dance fan. I watched every season ever since the start of it. I don't know why I loved it so much because I don't know, maybe I thought I was going to be a good dancer at some point. So I was just like, you know what? I just want to watch actual people that can dance.
Yeah.
So huge dance, So You Think You Can Dance fan, just a big dance fan in general. My sister actually has her master's in dance from the University of Utah, just so you know. Full disclosure for everyone. So yeah, we're a dance family as well. My daughter's in it. It's a lot of fun. But so just talking about the moments that kind of change your life, right?
Yeah.
What was besides maybe that, So You Think You Can Dance, audition and being able to kind of change your life. What else in your life has been a moment that has actually changed your life, for the better?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've had quite a few of those, but I kind of had an interesting run on Dancing with the Stars. So my very, very first season at 18 years old, I was asked to be a pro on Dancing with the Stars. I got a celebrity partner, and that was my first season ever on the show. I did that season. I personally thought I did a pretty good job. We made it to we got like 8th place. We made it further than halfway in the competition. And then what happens on Dancing with the Stars is you sign a contract with them, but each season you don't know if they're going to use you for the show. That makes sense. So you have to be available, but you don't actually know if you're going to be picked up that time or that season. So the next season rolls around, and like I said, I felt pretty good. I'm like, my first season, I made it pretty far. Like I think I'm good. I think I secured a spot. But the next season rolls around, I'm waiting to find out. And I get a call and they're like, "We still want to have you on the show. Unfortunately, we don't have a celebrity partner for you. So we're going to have you be part of the troupe," which the troupe is a group of dancers that will dance in like outside, like extra dancers, or they'll be in the opening number. They'll do little dances in between, but you don't have a celebrity partner. No, this is an incredible job. Being on the troupe is a dream. Like it's so cool. But to go from having a celebrity partner back down to the troupe, it is considered like a demotion. Like that is a
Yeah.
demotion, even though it's still a great opportunity. It is a demotion in that aspect. So that was really tough for me because I didn't get a lot of feedback. And so, of course, I'm just like, I suck. They hate me. I don't look the way I need to. Like, just as a woman, you're just going to think of all the horrible things about yourself that you can. But of course, I was grateful for the opportunity to be on True and kind of felt like, okay, this is my chance to like prove myself again so that I can become a pro again. Well, I did do that, but it took me 2 full years. I was on the troupe for 4 seasons after that. And that was like a hard time. The first 2 seasons on Troop, I feel like I was just like battling this, like trying to be something that I thought they wanted me to be, which is the worst thing in the world. I always tell people, like, don't change yourself to get a job because then once you get the job and you're a different person, you will hate the job that you have because you're not being true to who you
Yeah.
are. So I
Yeah.
did that for a while. And then finally, my last season on Troop, I was just like, obviously, this isn't working and it's making me miserable. It's not fun. Actually, my husband, Sam, we were dating at the time. We weren't married yet, but he was the one who kind of snapped me out of it. But essentially, I was really just not happy. I wasn't happy because I didn't feel like I should be where I was. And I was also spending so much time trying to like be something I wasn't. And finally, Sam was like, "Lindsay, you're doing a job that millions of people would kill to have. You're not grateful for what you're doing and you're not being yourself and just being the person that I know you are." And he was pretty harsh with me, but like it was exactly what I needed to hear because I was like, "You're right. Like, what am I doing? I've wasted time doing a job that is so cool, trying to like be something that I'm not." So that last season on Troop, I was kind of just like, "Okay, this is it. This is Lindsay. I'm going to be me. I'm going to do my best. And whatever happens, happens." And it was actually the next season that I became a pro again. And then I went on to do, I think it was like 10 more seasons after that as a pro, 8 or 9. Yeah. So that was a big turning moment for me in my career of understanding that like things will happen for you when they are supposed to happen if you are putting in the work and staying true to yourself. And that's the only way that I want to get any sort of opportunity in my life is because it's me, not because I'm trying to be something that I think somebody wants from me. And I think in the entertainment industry, it can be hard not to try to like fit a mold or like be a certain way for a certain job that you want. But I always tell that to dancers, like, you are enough the way that you are, and the right job will happen for you when you stay true to the person that you are.
That is an unbelievably awesome and humble response and approach because
Yeah.
I feel like so many people can relate in their own unique lifestyles and circumstances to
Yeah.
being in something or doing something that perceivably is great, but you just don't feel happy in the moment. And
Yeah.
so for Sam to have that conversation with you and to have the courage to do so, probably thought he was going to get punched in the face at some point. Amazing that he said that. And even more amazing that you responded the way that you did. And I'm going to be totally transparent here. I have felt that way about my own job at certain times
Yeah.
when things just kind of, you get stuck in the minutia and it's
Yeah.
like, I'm just not, I don't feel happy.
Yeah.
And I've needed those wake up calls as well. So yeah, that the connection that you have there with Sam, that, oh man, Jimmer, you feel it too. It's very, very real.
100% have been there. Exactly. My first year in Sacramento was not great. And I had some difficulties, which I've talked about in some previous pods. But you know, there's someone's got to, you know, kick you back into place. Like you said, having a good people around you is
Yeah.
huge, right? And then tapping into your faith of whatever that is to
Yeah.
understand that this is not always the most important thing.
Oh
Like
my
what else in my life is
first,
important? It shrinks the moment you understand what is going on outside of dance, outside of basketball to make it seem like, hey, it is what it is. I gotta move forward. I gotta be happy regardless. How do I
yeah,
do that? How do I find joy in other things besides just what I'm doing to make sure things are going bad or good? I'm still in a decent place.
100%. I agree.
Okay, let me follow up with that thought. And again, I appreciate the conversation so much. But when you are in the heart of Hollywood, Lindsay, and in many aspects, you were all eyes on you. It is a cutthroat society and business. I know that the glitz and glamour are fun to fall in love with, but it is, my gosh, it's just a hard life. So how in the world did you balance the Hollywood pressure with faith and eventually marriage when all of those three worlds were combining?
Yeah, I mean, definitely going back to kind of the word I said, perspective. Like, perspective was always something that I've used to navigate everything in my life. I mean, I still think about it to this day. And my family and Sam, who wasn't my husband, well, he was my husband through half of that, but we were together.
Right.
We've been together since we were 16. So he's been with me throughout my entire career. But my family and Sam are truly the reason that I feel like I was able to stay grounded. And I say grounded because reminding myself of what actually matters. Like success, fame, attention is really cool. It is. It's cool. It's like I'd be lying if I denied that it's like it feels good and it's cool to
Yeah.
have those things, but it's not long lasting. And then when it's turned off, what do you have left? So I think just being able to have my family and my husband who like really reminded me what was most important, and also having people like the people that I surrounded myself with didn't treat me any different the more fame that I got, the more success that I have. I was still the same Lindsay to them. And I'm really grateful for that because I want to always be the same Lindsay. So I think just like it goes back to just surrounding yourself with good people who know you and truly believe in you, and aren't afraid to tell you how it is sometimes, because that's sometimes what you need, and snap you back into place and remind you, like, Lindsay, that's cool, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
I think also just seeing like an eternal perspective of our lives and what actually matters beyond all of this. And I think that's something that has always kept me grounded. But again, I'm going to credit the people in my life because I know that there were times where had they not been there, I maybe could have gotten a little ahead of myself in areas. And I'm grateful to have had them just always keep me in check. Like, okay, Lindsay, that's cool. Great job. We love you. We're proud of you. But family is more important and these things are more important. And that definitely helped me a lot.
I love that. That's such great perspective, as you've alluded to, and it's incredible stuff. I mean, your story is absolutely awesome. We're gonna get to a little rapid fire with Dancing with the Stars here in a few minutes, but also you decided to hang it up, in Hollywood and Dancing with the Stars, to be a full time mom and also start another business. But you did that in 2021. So just talk me through that. How was that decision difficult to give that up? Because I know I retired in the last year, and it's never easy to kind of give up something that you love. And you're so you do it your whole life and competitive. So how has that transition been, and getting into launching your own business?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the hardest decision I've ever had to make in my entire life. Still, I mean, I made that
Yeah.
decision like almost 5 years ago, and it still is the hardest decision ever. I do
Sam
always
is happy to hear that. Sam
yeah,
is happy to hear that. That wasn't the hardest decision to
no,
marry
marriage
him.
is easy, honestly. I was like, "Yeah, let's do this. Let's go. You know how to put me in my place when I need it, so I think we're great for marriage. We got this."
That's funny.
But I feel like it was one of those things where it was the hardest decision ever, but I always felt like it was the right decision. So for that, I am grateful. Like I always knew it was the right thing, but pulling the trigger on decisions sometimes can be so impossible. But I mean, it really just came down to perspective. My life had drastically changed. I had had my first daughter, Sage. I went back for another season as a first-time mom, and it was a completely new experience, like, completely different. My priorities had shifted. I didn't feel like I was able I mean, I could have been able to give my whole self to Dancing with the Stars, but I wanted to do that for my daughter, and so I just found myself in a place where I'm like, I'm not able to compete and give myself to the level that I know I should be doing for this show, and so for me, it just didn't feel right anymore, and I also just, like I mean, as parents, we know that time is just so fleeting. Like it goes so fast. And I just know that I will never, ever, ever regret taking this time with my kids now when they're this young age. And I know I'll never get this time back. So yeah, I kind of had just gotten to a place where I'm like, I've had an incredible time. I've done so many cool things. I feel so fulfilled in this career path that I've had. And now what more can I do? What can I find that I'm able to do at home and still be here with my girls doing the day to day, but also still pursue passions? Because I am someone who I don't like to sit still. I like to have a passion. I like to have something that I'm working on. And so that's what kind of started my next career move, which was the Movement Club. It's my online workout program and it's so fun. I love that it's something, I mean, I literally film in this room right here. So I film all of my workout videos at home on my own time. And it's been so fun to build this business and then also doing social media and all the different things that come with that. But it's great because I feel like I've really designed kind of a life for our family where I can pursue a passion, I can work, I can provide, but I can be here where I want to be. And I just feel really, really grateful for all of it.
Wow, hanging on to the moments with your kids is something that I feel so strongly every day. My youngest is now 4, and she is in many ways the best part of my day because she's the one that greets me when I come home. And I saw something on social media posted, and it's a little bit of a trend that's gaining some steam, but it's the phrase, "This is where I will go in my dreams when I'm a grandparent." And it's videos, some of them mundane, just normal, of your kids just doing things that kids do in your home. And wow, I mean, you wanna talk about zooming out and being like, "Okay, what matters? This matters." So again, you made another hard decision to do this, but here you are. How has being a mom, to beautiful kids changed your perspective on how to balance a continuing budding profession in your own business, but still being available there for them?
Oh my gosh, becoming a mom changed literally everything for me. I think it just really, again, I keep saying the word perspective, but it's because I feel like all throughout my life, there's been moments where it's just been such like a profound learning moment where I'm like, perspective, perspective. And becoming a mom just puts everything into perspective because you really, it's like you could be having the most stressful day of work and things could be going terribly on the work side. And then you have the cutest, sweetest little daughters who are like, Mommy, can you play a game with me? And you're like, you know what? Yeah, let's play a game. Like, come on, let's go. So it's like, I feel like their contrast of just being these like bright, sweet, humans and they're just so innocent and they just wake up every day with like so much hope for a fun filled day and I just feel like they really give me so much they I don't feel like they do. They bring the most joy to my life that no matter what is going on, I remember that like this is the most important thing. I also feel like they've really changed the way that I view myself, the things I do that have more purpose in my life. I don't just do things randomly. I do it for them to be a good example to them, to show them who they can be and to be proud of themselves and to work hard and to pursue their dreams. So it's just everything has more purpose in my life. Like, honestly, I just feel like I can't even remember what I did or thought about or cared about before having kids. And I'm just, it's the best thing ever. It really is.
Okay, Lindsay, I want to ask one more bigger question before we get into the fast-paced lightning round and wrap this up. And you have spoiled us with your time, by the way.
Seriously.
Thank you so much for
Seriously.
doing this. You're so fun to talk to.
Oh,
Um, but I saw recently, I think it was on TikTok, where you got real with people who just want to be critical to be critical. Like, this is the toxic nature of social media. And we know all about it. I deal with it in my profession. Jimmer, you certainly deal with it in basketball. And Lindsay, you felt the good and a lot of the bad that
yeah.
comes with this social media revolution. But how do you manage that when people that have no concept of what actually goes into this and how hard people are working and all of the backstories and a lot of the stuff that you can't talk about, personal issues that people might be having, like how do you handle that? And how did you handle it when you were a pro on the show when those inevitable, really harsh, tough, critical comments come along?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard, and there's times where I'd handled it really well and times where I didn't handle it very well, and it was always just kind of a roller coaster of how you would respond to hateful comments. But I think over time, I've really learned some good, like, coping mechanisms and, like, tools to be like, "Okay, first of all, it's always coming from someone you don't know, that doesn't even know you personally, knows nothing about you, and only gets a vision of your life from what they see on social media, which I'll be the first to say, I share a lot of my life on social media, but you are seeing 5% of it. Like, there
Yeah.
is so much more that people don't see. And so just reminding myself of, okay, this person doesn't know me, doesn't know my heart, doesn't know who I am as an actual person. And then also understanding that, like, leaning on the people who do know you and talking to them. But like, if there's ever been a comment that really hit close to home, I'll bring it up to Sam or to my sisters and be like, what do you think about this? And getting opinions from people who actually know you and know you as a person. And then the other is, I sometimes have tried to, it's hard to do, but try to have a little bit of empathy for the person writing this message. Because you do have to think, like, I imagine I'd have to be in a pretty dark, sad, miserable place to take time out of my day to go and be hateful to somebody that I don't even know. And so then it's part of me is kind of like, okay, well, that is that's sad. That's unfortunate that that's what they are choosing to do with their day. They must be going through something or be feeling some sort of insecurity that they want to put onto somebody else. And so kind of trying to go through those steps to get me to just like separate the comment from like being a personal attack and understanding that it's definitely something that is more on the person who is choosing to be hateful. So I try to do that again. Like I said, sometimes it's hard and sometimes it just sucks. And you just read it and you're like, well, that hurts. And I don't feel good reading that. And
Yeah.
at those moments, sometimes I choose to like maybe take a little break. I don't read my comments for a week or two, or I don't check my DMs as often because I'm like, I just need to separate myself from the source of possibly the hate. So, but then also
Yeah.
reminding myself that wherever there's hate, there's way more love. There's
Yeah.
truly is like, I could name thousands more comments that are kind and loving and supportive. So I always remind people, like, if you look for hate, you'll find it. But if you look for
Yeah.
support and love, you'll also find it. So just pick which one do you want to focus on.
Meekness is a hard attribute to find, Lindsay. It really is in our world. And it's hard to take the higher road all the time, especially when, I get you're an idiot, Spencer, and it's YOUR. And I'm like, I wanna respond to your grammar, but I'm not going to. I am not going to.
I also am always catching grammar. I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
My wife does it to me all the time. Ugh.
We have to
Kills me.
help
She
ourselves.
kills me on the grammar.
Oh,
No.
so funny.
I
All
do
right,
that
we're gonna
So it's normal.
yes, we're gonna begin the lightning round. Jimmer, why don't you fire off the first question here for Lindsay?
Okay, yeah. Take as little or as much time as you want on these, okay, Lindsay?
Okay.
So, favorite season with Dancing with the Stars and why?
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna say two. I'm sorry. Favorite for
Okay.
sure was season 25 with Jordan Fisher because we won. That was the one time
Yes,
we hear about.
yes.
I feel like I have to like it was.
Of
it was
course.
It was
It's
such
the
a great
win.
year.
Yeah.
We had so much fun. But runner up to that was the season before, season 24. I was with David Ross. He was the Cubs baseball
Yeah.
catcher. And we ended up getting second place. And it's always just the funniest because he wasn't a good dancer. I mean, I'd say that to his face. Like, he knows it. He wasn't a great dancer, but people loved him. We had the best connection, the best friendship, and it was just really, really fun for me.
Yeah. I was rooting for you that season. I remember David,
Oh,
and he
thank
was just
you.
a fun guy. But yes,
The
third.
best.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
yeah, just the best guy ever. He was so much fun to be with.
Okay, question number 2. And maybe you already answered it, but who is your favorite dance partner all time?
All
That's
time?
that's tough.
Like,
That's tough.
I would say all around Jordan Fisher. We had so much fun together. We were like brother and sister. He was the best dancer I'd ever had by a long shot. He was so good. So it was so fun to dance with him. But I'm not even saying this just to be like politically correct. Like, I am so lucky that I have had so much fun with every single partner I've ever had on the show. Like,
I'm
I
sure.
somehow lucked out to have people that I actually have lifelong friendships with now. So I feel very lucky in that sense. But yeah, that's probably my favorite.
Awesome.
Great. Funniest dance partner. Who was
Oh,
the guy?
David Ross for sure. So funny. He was down for anything. He'd wear any costume. We did a dance where he was pretending to audition for Magic Mike, and we danced to the song Candy Shop. And like,
Yep.
he's the only partner I had that would have been down to do stuff like that. So
Classic song.
Oh, so fun. Okay, next question. Who's the most, and not, this is not to say their personality or they weren't, loving and super fun, but like just the most work you had to do of all your partners, where it was just the biggest challenge.
ooh. Um, I think it was a big challenge with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He
Yeah.
was so tall, and he was also
Yeah.
older. So being able to find, again, going back to like, obviously I knew that season we weren't ever going to be the best dance of the night, but I really wanted to make sure that he had a fun experience and was like still proud of what he did. So I think it really it just was the most challenging as far as challenging me as a pro to think outside the box and to like get creative with ways to help him look like he was having fun out there and make him feel comfortable, even though I knew the dancing wasn't ever going to be like top tier. So I wouldn't say he was like a challenging person to work with, but that season as a whole was challenging on me as a pro to just like be creative and make it happen, make it work.
Yeah. Understood. All right. Favorite judge.
Ooh. I mean, definitely Len. He's not judge anymore. He passed away
Yeah,
last.
I
Yeah.
know. I
But
know.
Len, for sure. He was the one where like you were always so scared of what he was gonna say because he was
Yeah.
really harsh. But when he said something good, it meant the
You're like,
most.
yes, yes.
His
Yeah.
opinion mattered so much to all of us. So it was good and bad because sometimes he would absolutely wreck you and you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, that hurt." But
Yeah.
then when he was positive and uplifting, it was great. And then off the judges table, like just around out and about, like he's like your sweet, loving grandpa. Like he was so kind to everyone. Hi,
Yes.
so sweet and fun. So yeah, he's my favorite for sure.
Okay, this is probably an impossible question, but I'm going to ask it just because I feel like I have to. You've
Okay.
done thousands of dances and performances,
Ooh, yeah.
but what was your favorite performance, singular? I know.
It's like asking what was my favorite shot I ever made. It's like impossible.
That's really
Right?
hard. I feel like the obvious answer, and I always say it, is my freestyle with Jordan Fisher, just because that's what we won with. But I'm gonna say a different one because this was a big moment for me. So, like I had mentioned to you, I was a pro my first season. I got demoted to troop for 4 seasons, and then I finally got a shot again at being a pro the next season. And me and my partner ended up making it all the way to the finals, which meant I got to do my first freestyle in the finale. And that was one of I still like. I mean, that was gosh, like over 10 years ago, and I still remember that dance like it was yesterday. Like I could do it for you right now. Like I have not forgotten it. It was just
Don't
such a
tempt us.
yeah, I'm like, "What?" But it was so cool because it was like such a triumphant season of like, oh yes, I proved myself. I got back to where I wanted to like be. And then I made it to the finals and I got to do a freestyle and it was a really fun dance and just like very memorable for me. So I would maybe see that one. My freestyle with Alex Carlotta. That's what it was.
Love that. Love that. We have 2 more for you. This one's really quick.
Okay.
Favorite costume.
Ooh, oh.
A lot of good
loaded
costumes.
dance. I've had
A
like
lo-
millions of costumes.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
It could be just a memorable one too. One
Yeah,
that you're like,
exactly.
I
One that
want to
pops
take
to
that
your
home
head.
and keep it forever.
Okay, I didn't want to take it home and keep it, but it was fun. We did Disney night one season. I was with DeMarcus Ware, and
Yeah.
we did Hercules, and I got to be Meg from Hercules, and I got like a fun red wig, which was fun because I was like,
Right.
"Ooh, I'm a different person." So maybe that, one. Maybe that.
Great. Love
Okay.
it. Love the answer.
All right. And now finally, put on your analyst hat here, Lindsay. And I know that you're still involved in some capacity with the show, as you should be after investing so many years of your life into it. But who's the favorite to win this season?
Oh, I think it's a no-brainer. I think Robert Irwin is for sure the favorite to win. He's got the whole package. He's
Yeah.
doing really good with the dancing and he's getting better. And he's also got the personality. People love him. So that would
Yeah.
be my guess. Like if I had to go to Vegas today and put money down on someone, it would be Robert Irwin for sure.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you on it. I think that's the right
I feel
answer
like-
for this time, but
I feel like it's his to lose at this point. So
Yeah,
we'll see
yeah.
what happens. That's what's crazy
Yeah.
though, is you never know. Like things
Yeah.
change. But I feel pretty confident about that guess, but we'll see.
totally.
Great stuff. Lindsay, it's been so fun to talk with you. And I'm probably underselling that. Like we have thoroughly enjoyed this, had some great laughs. But maybe most importantly, just it's good to sit and talk with somebody who can who understands that life is hard sometimes and it's the balance is very, very difficult. So we appreciate your insights and perspectives, and we're so thrilled for you and your future projects and ventures. In fact, why don't you tell everybody listening and watching here today how they can get involved with what you are doing right now?
Yeah, so you can follow me on all my channels at Lindsay Arnold. And then if you want to be a part of the Movement Club, you can go to movementclub.com. It's a online fitness platform. I add new videos every single week. We've got over 400 videos already on the platform. But yeah, I'd love to have you as members. There's a 7-day free trial, so you can always just try it out and see what you think first.
Hey, Lindsay, thank you so much. We appreciate the time. We love talking with you. Tell Sam and the family we said hello, and thanks for taking some time today. But we'll be in touch, and can't wait to see the rest of the season too. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you guys. So good chatting.
Thanks, Lindsay. Jimmer, we could spend another hour talking about everything that was discussed in that interview and the challenges, significant challenges that someone in her position faces, especially on social media. My goodness, it is just brutal at times.
I know. I feel like we could spend a whole hour talking to her about social media, right? Because that's what she's doing now. And that's what she's going to continue to do as she, makes money and kind of does the movement club and all these different things that she's doing. She's very open and vulnerable on social media about her life, about her family. And with that comes a lot of scrutiny. A lot of positives, but also a lot of negatives. And we could talk about that because that's real age stuff for our kids, for people are in our positions. That's real age stuff. So we would have to get her back on to talk about that. She was just awesome. She was vulnerable. She's great. Obviously, you can tell she's done several interviews because she's very well spoken. She knows what she's doing, and it was just it was an awesome, vulnerable, informative interview. And she thinks I can make it on the show. That's all I really care about.
And how about the fact that she remembered when I met her
Yeah, that's
first
impressive.
season? So You Think You Can Dance. That is wild. That honestly shocked me. Shocked me. She remembered the restaurant and what happened. But
Good old Maggiano's, man.
let's go. Maggiano's for the win, bro. Hey, we're going to take another time out. When we return, Jimmer takes on some of your submitted questions in another edition of Open Gym. This is From the Logo. We're back after this. This episode of From the Logo is sponsored by Primo Golf, founded in 2020 by a family in Utah that believes golfers are athletes too. And you know what? Golfers absolutely are. Use the code FROMTHELOGO, all one word, for 15% off your purchase at primogolfapparel.com. That's primogolfapparel.com. From the Logo rolls on, and we now open things up to our listeners and viewers with your submitted questions from social media. Straight to, in this case, Jimmer Fredette today, 2 big-time questions. We call it Open Gym. Everyone's taking their shot, brother. And we encouraged people to ask you some hard questions, and they have delivered. At least the second one today. Number 1, at Aaron Christensen, disc golf stuff. Asks on YouTube after he says, another great episode. Jimmer, I'd love to hear about some of your most memorable missionary experiences, sharing your faith, as you've been in the spotlight all around the world. Then he adds, thank you for always being the epitome of what a role model should be. Very kind of Aaron. And I know you always love to hear that you're the greatest ever, Jimmer. This does not make you uncomfortable at all.
No, not at all. I love talking about myself. Love hearing that. Like, it's impressive. Thank you, Aaron. I do appreciate that. And I've had a fortunate time to be able to have a lot of missionary experiences all over the world. A lot of them have to do with just the people that you're around, like your teammates, the coaching staff. That every time you go to a new team and they don't know much about you or about BYU specifically, and about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you go out to China and really not a whole lot of people that know anything about it, right? They've heard BYU maybe before because of our success in basketball and dude that was coming over, but they don't know what it stands for. So we go out and we have a opportunity to go to a restaurant, all of a sudden you don't drink, or you're not going out and party or doing stuff with the people. They're like, well, why don't you do that? And then there's an opportunity to talk about the church or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, talk about the word of wisdom, why it is that we don't drink, why it is that we don't party, all of these different things that you have an opportunity to do. I've had a great time being able to talk to the youth all over the world too. whether it's in Europe. I did it in Paris. I did it in Greece. I've done it in China. I've done it in Germany. I've done it kind of all over the world to talk to the youth, and to share my experience of the good times, the bad times, and how you deal with that and how you're able to have faith through all of those difficult situations in real life. A lot of these kids and youth want to hear about that. They want to understand how to deal with what they're going through in high school, and how to continue to be kind and be helpful to people, even if you don't necessarily agree with what they're doing. It's about trying to find that common ground and being able to understand that you can have, you can stand up for what you believe in and still be good friends with people that aren't of your faith, and just navigating those waters. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to talk to that, to a lot of people across the world, and what a cool experience that's been, to be able to share the gospel and feel the spirits in all over the world, in places that you may not have ever thought you would feel the spirit and be able to share the gospel. So super cool opportunities, and appreciate the question.
Fantastic stuff. Question number 2 comes from at BYU Event Staff 1, who submits the question on X and asks, this is loaded. How do you really feel about the honor code office?
Oh man, am I gonna get in trouble, or like I'm talking about this? Like, let me tell you something. I know that there's people that have a lot of emotions on the honor code office, right? Like, in the honor code office, they're people too, right? So they're not perfect. They're not always going to get every single thing right. They're doing the best that they possibly can with the amount of knowledge that they have on the subject and understand what it is. What I will say is this: we have an honor code for a reason, at BYU, because it's a part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They want to uphold the standards of our church, and that's what the honor code represents. And if you're not living by the honor code, then that's completely up to you. But if you get caught, there's gonna be repercussions, whatever that is, whatever they deem that is appropriate. And that's not for me to decide, obviously. What I will say is that they don't take exception to that rule. And that's the thing that I most respect about it, because you've had guys that have been the top of the top at or at their athletics in sports at BYU that have had run-ins with the honor code office, and they have treated them just as if they would have treated a normal student, and have had to kick kids out of school or get them suspended or do certain things, to make them get back to what they needed to do, as far as the standard of the school is considered. So because of that, I respect that. They don't care who you are. Like, if you're not living the way that they want, the way that they've set up the honor code, then there's going to be repercussions. And so I respect that about it. They don't take exception to that rule. And that's the way it should be. If you have the rule, you should be enforcing it, though, for anybody that is at the school. So that's the one thing that I will say about it. I respect that about it. And obviously I know that there's strong opinions on this, both one way or the other. But that's how I feel about it. And they're trying to do the best they can, and I understand why they have it. And I love having the honor code. It makes it so that like I said, it's on your honor though. Some people may be doing something, they don't know about it. You never get caught. You don't know. It's on your honor, right? But if you get caught, there's going to be repercussions.
Well, I know this is it's a hot topic, especially for BYU fans, around you and watching you at the peak of your career in your senior season, when the team was derailed a little bit, for lack of a better phrase, because of a penalty that was sent out to Brandon Davies, and then he couldn't play with the basketball team anymore because of an honor code violation. So how is it that you navigated the disappointment of that, understanding that it is an integrity thing and you stand by everything you just said, but knowing that, wow, things are really going to change for our team, and instead of BYU maybe being a number 1 or number 2 seed, you're a 3 seed, and your chances to get to the Final Four have understandably taken a shot?
Yeah, it was It wasn't easy, obviously. Like, that was difficult. We felt like we had a chance to win a national championship that year, made it to a Final Four. We legitimately did. And so to have that happen just kind of took the sails out of us. And so that was hard. But at the same time, I respect Brandon so much because he owned up to it.
I love him. I love him
This
so
is why
much.
he's the best. And this is it is like, hey, I understand this is what it is. He went through his ups and downs, and then he was able to come back to the school, have an incredible senior season, and go play professionally for 13 years at this point.
And crushed
Right?
it. He's crushing it.
He's been awesome. He's a close friend of mine. And I'll tell you one quick story on that. We learned that this happened, and obviously they brought in the captains, me, Jackson, and Logan Magnuson, coach did. And he told us this news before everybody else, and obviously we were distraught. It was very difficult. We're like, okay, well, this is what we're dealing with. This is what we got to do, right? And everyone left, and coach was in there, and he was difficult. And I look back at coach, and I was like, listen, how many points what were Brandon's averages? He's like, it was like 14 points and 8 rebounds. I was like, all right, cool. I'll get you the 14 points. You find me the 8 rebounds and we'll be okay. And the coach was like, all right, let's do that. And I was like, let's do it. So I was like, I have confidence in this team still that we can go out there and do what we need to do. Find me the rebounds. I'll take care of the points and we'll be okay. And we played like it and still had a great rest of the season.
A Sweet 16 run that will not soon be forgotten. Great stuff, and appreciate you opening up to some really tough questions, especially that second one. It's kind of something that people I think are afraid to ask you about and your teammates about because of how sensitive the feelings can be around that. But I think there's real power in discussing that. And again, we love Brandon. I have enjoyed watching his career, which included a short stint in the NBA. And like you said, he's been so good over in Europe. And like you see him now and his beautiful family and everything that's happening for him. Like he is who he is and all of the great things that he has and enjoys now because of the setbacks and trials that he went through, specifically at BYU. Like that was an integral part of why he is the awesome dude that he is today.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a great kid. He's doing great things. And, we love Brandon. So it's been fun to watch him.
All right. If you would like to submit questions for Jimmer, for me, or any of our guests on the next show, pretty simple. Follow us on our social media accounts at JimmerFTL, or you can leave comments on YouTube as well. The 3x3 update closes out the show next. What's this about a delay of game? Like, who's going to delay the 3x3 game when it needs to be played at such a high pace? The answer from Jimmer when From the Logo continues, presented by Primo Golf.
All right, guys, we are so excited to celebrate 5 years of Primo.
If you or your business are looking to reach a wide audience, From the Logo with Jimmer Fredette will help you reach your goals. Whether you're interested in title sponsorship, segment sponsorship, or product placement on the podcast, email us at jimmerftl@gmail.com and let us help you shoot your shot.
From the Logo moves into the final quarter with our USA Basketball 3x3 update. GM Jimmer with the latest on the drive to gold in 2028 from his 3x3 teams working hard across the globe, plus his weekly insight or rule to the game to get more acclimated with one of the more unique and fast-growing sports on the Olympic scene. Jimmer, where are you taking the conversation in 3x3 today?
Yes, we are going to talk about the delay of game penalty. So in 3x3, obviously, it is a fast-paced game, and there's not a lot of stoppages, right? It's continuous play through made baskets, all of the above, right? Now, they do have these delay of game penalties, Okay, so what happens is there's a bunch of different delay of game penalties. Okay, one of them is checking the ball. If you don't check the ball correctly so that it's in the person's hand, or you try to steal it quickly, or you don't bounce it, if you just hand it to them, those are all delay of game penalties, right? So those are specific delay of game penalty.
Okay.
Another delay of game penalty is if you make a basket and then decide to like hit the ball out of bounds, or you kind of just stand over the ball, right? So the other team can't get it. That's another type of delay of game penalty. The other delay game penalty is there is like that little semicircle, like the charge circle in the half court. If you play defense within that charge circle after someone makes the basket, that is also a delay of game penalty, right? So you always get one warning on a delay of game penalty. There's also talking to the refs. They give you a delay game penalty for that. So if you talk to the refs too much, they give you a warning, delay game penalty on that. So there's those.
You never got in trouble for that, right? You never got a delay of game for that, right?
One time. No. And so yeah, so you have all those four. And if you can get one for each of them, right? And if you get a second one, then they call a technical foul. Like it's an automatic technical foul. So you have to be strategic with these delay game penalties, because the thing is like you don't want to pick one up on accident, is what I'm trying to say. You want to pick one up on purpose. So when you're going in for a layup and you're dead tired and it's in the middle of the game and you haven't had a delay game penalty, sometimes you just go up and you make the layup and then you just kind of hit the ball out of bounds on purpose. Because you're like, I'm so tired, I need a sub. I'm getting, we play for 2 minutes straight and everyone's exhausted. We need to get a sub in here. I'm hitting the ball out of bounds. I'm taking a delay game penalty and we're getting a sub and we're resetting, right? That's a good one, but you have to make sure you don't do it again. Or if you're within the semicircle, right, and you're playing basketball and for some reason your teammate fell down or something, right? And all of a sudden the guy is like wide open on the 2-point line. You're going to want to take a delay at that point and try to steal the ball while they're in the circle or tip the ball or whatever and take that delay of game, take away that 2-point basket, right? There's all these little tricks of the trade that you want to do to get these strategic delay game penalties, just so that you can catch your wind or save a 2 or do these little things. But you don't want to take it just randomly, because then you don't have it anymore. And sometimes guys do that without thinking. The most veteran guys make sure that they take them strategically and then don't get the second, because you definitely don't want the tech.
It's kind of like taking a pass interference call in American football when you're going to get beat for a touchdown. It's like, no, I'll give up the 15 yards, but I'm not going to give up the 75-yard touchdown.
Correct. Yep, that's exactly right. You got to be strategic with it. You got to understand when to do it, when not to do it, and you get better at it as you play fair games and you see more things. But yeah, that's what I got for you today. Delay games. There's a lot of them. Watch out for them as you're going. You'll see guys take them on purpose, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I heard about that on From the Logo.
Let's go. Did you ever get a technical foul in any level of basketball in your entire life? Have you ever had a technical foul?
Yes, absolutely. I was one that got after the refs probably too much at certain points in my life. So yes, I definitely did. And I never got fined for it, right? Like, because I didn't get many or anything but yeah, I definitely did.
We got to talk about your altercation with Stephon Marbury at some point too.
Yeah, we will. Let's get into that. Not today.
Good stuff. Jimmer, great to be with you as always, brother. A reminder to all of you that you can find every episode of From the Logo to date on our YouTube channel and on your favorite podcast platform. It's all there. If you want to go back, man, the business principles, life principles, sports stories. I mean, it's loaded with goodness. And so we'd love for all of you to enjoy that. If you're new to the program, welcome. Retrace it, because we've enjoyed the journey to this point. Final thoughts from you, brother?
Awesome show today. There's so much good stuff in here. The Early Trey was just iconic. Great work by you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. It's been a blast. We're going to keep these episodes coming and just getting better and better at this. So we appreciate your support.
Let's go. A reminder to shoot your shot in life. We'll see you next episode.